With the increasing cost of living, does your money work as hard as you do? Our ability to generate income from work is limited by the amount of time we have in a day. That is why we have to handle our finances well. In this video, I will show you how you can make your money work as hard as you do. I'm sure you wouldn't want inflation or the rising cost of living eat up the value of your hard-earned money. Just a disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as investment advice. For expert opinion, talk to a professional. Always conduct due diligence when it comes to investing. This is Invictus Pinay saying, life is what we make it. If you are new to my channel, please make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you won't miss out on any of my vlogs about personal finance, investment, budgeting, savings, and many more. Now, let's get started! Let me start by showing you the historical savings account interest rates here in the UK as it relates to inflation. This illustration captures data from 1989 until 2020. Notice that in 1990, interest rates in savings accounts is at 13.59%, while inflation during the same period was only 7.6%. Therefore, the nominal savings rate is 13.59% and the real interest rate is 5.99% adjusted to inflation. So, you are still earning in real terms if you put your money in a savings account during this period. In the earlier years of the graph, interest rates in savings accounts are higher than the inflation rate. Hence, money kept in a savings account then earned decent returns after factoring in inflation, but not until 2009 when they broke even. And since then, inflation rate had almost always outperformed savings rate, which means that the real value of money kept in the bank is not keeping up with inflation. This remains to be the trend up to this time. This is why you need to look beyond savings if you want to at least keep the real value of your money. But of course, the goal should be to earn decent returns and make your money work even harder as you do. We are not saying though to never put money in a savings account, as it could be a place to keep your emergency funds. However, any amount that you want to grow further and are not intended for short-term use could rather be invested to grow. So, you don't just work for money, but your money is working for you as well, even while you sleep. There are pitfalls to building wealth. One of these is what we call lifestyle inflation. This is when expenses follow income. When one's income goes up, instead of increasing one's ability to invest, expenses become at the forefront of priorities. Gadgets, for one, is among the large purchases a typical employee spends his or her money on just to keep up with the latest trend. A market research on smartphone life cycle conducted by Cantonar World Panel in 2018 revealed that people in the USA tend to keep their smartphones up to 24.7 months before they upgrade to a new one, while smartphone owners in Great Britain tend to use their smartphones longer to up to 27.7 months. The study also showed that the world's top 3 smartphone makers saw an increase of 52% in their price every 3 years, or an average of 17% per year. Now, let's take a look at Apple's stock performance over the years. Looking at this, it tells us that in 39 years, up to 2020, there were only 14 periods where Apple underperformed and the rest of the 25 periods delivered positive returns. This one shows that there are 32 10-year periods in 39 years. I tried figuring out Apple's performance in each 10-year period and have found out that there's just a single 10-year period out of 32 that it had a negative return, which is negative 6.51%. The rest of the 31 10-year periods were all positive, which pretty much shows the company's outstanding performance. Since 1981, it has delivered an amazing average annual return of 34%. Did you know that if Apple were a country, it would have ranked 44 in terms of size? What if you invested in Apple stock every year instead of spending for a new phone? Let us see how will it look like. So, let's recap the information we have gathered from previously. According to Cantoner's research, people in Britain change or upgrade their smartphones every 27.7 months. The world's top 3 smartphone brands, they increased their price by 52% in 3 years, or about 17% per year. We have also noted that Apple's stock has delivered an average annual return of 34% since 1981. So, if the price of the latest iPhone is £1,049 based on their website, and we invest in Apple every year and increase our yearly investment by only 10% with an assumed 30% instead of 34% annual rate of return, then in 10 years, the fund will grow to about £76,000 and £1.2 million in 20 years. Amazing, right? But wait, how certain are we that Apple will remain stable in the next 10 or 20 years? Is it not too risky to put all your eggs in just one basket? Would it not be better to invest in different companies to minimize the risk of losing everything? Okay, I've heard you. So, what if we spread the investment among different companies from different sectors so that when one sector is down, others may be performing quite good enough? What if we invest in a basket of stocks and that follow a certain index like S&P 500? Some good examples of basket of funds that follow a certain index is an index fund or exchange-traded fund. An index fund, just like an ETF, is a basket of stocks or bonds designed to copy the composition of the performance of a market index that it follows. Here is our comparison of the two. Index fund trades once a day, so when you buy or sell, the price is determined at closing day. Whereas an ETF or exchange-traded fund is simply an index fund. So they're just similar. It's just that it is traded like a stock. So the price changes all throughout the trading day. So in an index fund, you normally invest in currency amounts, say $100. Then if the price is above $100, you invested $100, you will only get a fraction of a share. On the other hand, ETF generally invest in a whole share. Unlike actively managed funds where expense ratio is high, the expense ratio for both an ITF and ETF are minimal since it does not require active management of a fund manager. That is why it is more cost-effective to invest in an ETF or ITF than in an actively managed fund. Usually, an index fund may have a minimum amount, while an ETF or exchange-traded fund has a minimum share, although some platforms allow fractional share. So, if you are someone who doesn't have the time to do research about individual companies, an index fund or an ETF could work for you. You can get access to these funds through an investment platform like Vanguard, Fidelity, Hargreaves Lansdowne, free trade, trading 212, and many more. I personally use Vanguard due to its low cost fees and free trade for its commission-free feature. So if you want to open an account with free trade, I have shared my link below for us to get a free share worth up to £200 when you open an account and start investing. Again, it's not an offer. It's up to you whether you will use the link or not. Always do your own diligence when it comes to investing. You may be asking, what is S&P 500 index? So let me just read to you the definition as shown in the picture. The S&P 500 index or Standard & Poor's 500 index is a market capitalization weighted index of 500 leading publicly traded companies in the US. It is not an exact list of the top 500 US companies by market cap because there are other criteria to be included in the index. The index is regarded as one of the best gauges of large cap US equities. Another common US stock market benchmark is Dow Jones Industrial Average. So there you go. Well, this graph here, this one, okay, that graph is just to show you some of the companies that comprise S&P 500. While this one, okay, this shows the different sectors comprising it. So we have healthcare, energy, information technology, real estate, and others. Okay, so as you can see, it is highly diversified. When you invest in a fund that follows an index like this, you get to participate in big companies in different sectors. And you don't just hold a single company, you will have a diversified portfolio. Hence, your risk exposure will be minimized. As a general rule of thumb, high-risk investments equate to potentially high returns, and low-risk equate to low returns. This is what we call the risk-reward trade-off. In investing, it is important to know your risk appetite as it will translate to the potential return that you will get. The S&P 500's average annual return since inception is 10 to 11%. This time, let us assume that instead of investing in one single company, which is in our previous example, Apple, you have decided to spread the risk and invest in an index. But this time, instead of an average return of 30% per year, we will only be using 10% based on the historical performance of the S&P 500. In 10 years, okay, your fund will potentially grow to £27,209 and nearly £141,150 in 20 years. Well, while the value of your smartphone decreases over time, the value of your investment fund could grow as the years go by. So, before you upgrade your phones, think carefully if you truly need a new one. Know your motivation for upgrading. Some financial experts, they suggest to never spend a significant amount like maybe £100 or £1,000 or any amount that makes sense to you on anything without taking 48 hours to think about it. This 48-hour cooling off period will allow you to think rationally. One of the culprits of financial disaster is impulse buying. The iPhone spending earlier is just an illustration or a representation. It can even be anything that you mindlessly spend your money on, not realizing its future value if it was otherwise saved and then invested. The point here is that you have to understand where your money is going. and to know your motivation behind spending. To make your money really work for you, you have to make a conscious effort to monitor your cash flows, how much is coming in and how much is going out, and where these outgoings are spent on. So you will have a clear understanding of how much money you can really put away. Take a look at some other expenses in this illustration and how much the money could potentially grow if it was invested instead. Say for example, cigarette spending. If say the average cost of a pack of 20 sticks cigarette is 13.6, and if you smoke an average of 10 sticks per day, that would bring to 6.80 pounds a day, or 204 a month, and 2,448 pounds a year. So let us say that you have decided to stop smoking and redirect your money that is usually spent on smoking to investing. And you do this religiously every month for the next 10 years or so, and increasing your investment by only 3% adjusted to inflation, because if you continue smoking, the price of cigarette would probably increase every year by at least 3% anyway. And let us assume that the fund grows by 10% compounded annually. Then on the 10th year, your fund will grow by how much? 48,000. That's 48,000 pounds. After 20 years, it would be about 190,000 pounds, and over $500,000 after 30 years. So, the challenge here is for you to review your expenses in the last 3 months. Go and check your credit card and bank account statements and see how you have been spending your money in the past 3 months. Identify essential and non-essential expenses and see where you can cut down to allow you extra money to invest. Not setting up a budget and not keeping track of your expenses could be just like throwing money down the drain. Remember, your ally to investing and growing your money is time and compound interest. According to Einstein, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. Compound interest is the interest you earn from your money when you invest it, which also earns interest. So, it's money earning interest and the interest earning more interest. So, that is why it is important to recruit more potential workers by reviewing your daily and monthly expenses and see if you can still recruit more workers, quote unquote. These are extra savings from non-essential expense or non-essential expenses that you can deploy or you could add in your investment, because the more workers you employ, the faster your investment portfolio will grow. The income you earn from your investment portfolio is called passive income or portfolio income. This is what we call money working for you, because it earns money even when you sleep. That's about it. Remember, time is our most valuable asset. We trade our time for money when we work. With investing, we trade our money to earn more money that will eventually buy us time to do the things we love to do. By the way, if you want to join our community of Filipino people finding ways to making our money work for us through financial literacy, I have provided the FB or Facebook group link below, so go and check it out. I'm planning to create a video to show where I put my money both here in the UK and in the Philippines. Please let me know in the comment below if you are interested in this. Follow me at Facebook at Invictus Pinay and send me a message if you want a copy of some of the books I have on personal finance. Again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification to keep you updated. If you find this helpful, hit the like button and share this video to those you think might benefit from this. This has been Invictus Pinay signing off saying, empty pockets never held anyone back. Only empty heads and empty hearts can do that. Have a good day, everyone, and until next time, see ya!